Hi, I'm Oksana, and we are looking at Elevation that was created by Gaston Lachesse. The story behind it makes me wonder what it would be if Isabelle Duthaud Nagel did not come to France, and the young student of Paris School of Fine Art would never meet this beautiful American woman. But it was meant to be. It happened in 1902 almost by chance. He saw her on the street and asked her to pose for him. He was 20 at the time, and she was 10 years senior and married with a son. She was intelligent, refined, and she wrote poetry. Young artists saw her as a harmonious human being. They fell in love, and it turned out to be the pivoting point for both their lives. In Lachesse's own words, she became his primary inspiration, which awakened his vision and the leading influence that directed his forces. Through my career as an artist, he wrote, I refer to this person, Isabel, by the word woman, and he wrote woman with capital W. If we look back into history of art, we can see a plenty of examples when women became an inspiration for artists and sculptors and poets and writers. Features of Simonetta Vespucci lingers through all women's character in Botticelli's paintings. Salvador Dali included images of his wife Gala into his surrealistic visions. Camille Claudel inspired Rodin, and Margit Pagani inspired Brancusi. And list can go on. However, story of Lachesse and Isabelle Nagel is unique. It's not only a sensual romantic infatuation of the youth, it was a flux of love and creativity that lasted for the rest of artist's life. Lachesse followed Isabelle to the United States. He left Paris behind, and Paris at that time was the center of art universe. They eventually got married. The friend and artist Marston Hartley mentioned that Lachesse saw the entire universe in the form of a woman. And Isabel was this woman. Her voluptuous body with generous breast and hips, with a thin waist, which I think was a result of heavy corset lacing in her childhood, long legs and tiny feet, became a starting point for conceptual development and the reinvention of image of a woman. For Lachesse, she was a symbol of a powerful universal femininity and sexuality. Although Europe in the beginning of the 20th century started to embrace sexuality in the art of Auguste Rodin, Aubrey Burtzley, German expressionists, art of Matisse and Picasso, it was quite different in America. In the beginning of the 20th century, American society was still bound with strict Victorian moral paradigms, and it was not at ease to perceive the honest representation of the nudity. This 6-foot statue was created during 1912-1915 and displayed in 1918 in Bourgeois Gallery in New York. Along with other Lachesse's works, the elevation appeared as a controversial subject. The poet E. E. Cummings wrote in 1920, Lachesse has in the past few years made a large numbers of artists extremely enthusiastic and a great many gallery goers very nervous, not to mention the ladies and gentlemen who may have died of anger. Um, Actually, Lachesse even didn't name his creation. The name elevation was coined by Stephen Bourgeois. Let's look at her. The heaviness of her body contrasts with delicate refined shapes of her legs and feet. From heavy thighs down, body elevates itself and almost loses the connection with the ground, as if it claims its divinity and idealistic purpose. The upper portion of her torso is bent backwards. Her head is lifted and eyelids are lowered, as if she looked down from above and beyond. Her hands are in strange dual gesture. She points to herself as if she says, "Here I am." Her right hand is opened. It is a gesture of contemplation. She impresses the viewer with a monumental synthesis of ethereality and earthiness. Isabel was not a monumental woman. She was 5'2", 5'3". Her weight was about 110 pounds. Impression of monumentality comes from artists' intentional exaggeration of proportions. Her head is substantially smaller than classic 1/8 part of the body length. It is a portrayal, but it is also an impression and definite step towards modernity through stylization. In spite of visual and stylistic differences, this presence of impressionistic aspect in elevation connects Lachasise and Rodin. Another strong influence we can trace to light-footed, dynamic beauties of Paul Manship. And it is understandable. In 1912, in New York, Gaston Lachasise worked for Manship as his assistant. According to Penelope Curtis, critics described Lachaise works as attribution to early Egyptian, early Arabian, and pre-Greek. The archaic influence is in the identification woman as a goddess and in the emanation of visceral sexuality comparable to Venus of Willendorf. Till his death in 1937, in the age of 53, Lachasise was inspired by Isabel regardless of her age and inevitable changes of her body. Eventually, he condensed her femininity into unique, abstract, and very provocative forms. He became the most important American modernist sculptor of the first part of 20th century. Well, I hope I didn't bore you. Thank you for listening.